Let me press. Okay, welcome everyone. Good morning. Today is June 8th. This is the Brand Power Hour, which is my free community for brand builders where we talk all things branding. Either I bring in a guest expert like Jill, or I myself is leading the conversation to help you with tools and resources and content so that you can build your own standout brand. So before we get started with Jill's presentation, just a little bit of housekeeping. I know summer is coming up, so a lot of people are a little bit loose, but just wanted to let you know what is coming up in this group. We have another Brand Power Hour on July 13th, and you probably don't want to miss this. It's all about Reels 101. This is with Sydney Chase, who was in a mastermind with me, with Jessica Miller. Oh my God, I just had a brain fart, but Jessica Miller. She's on the West Coast. But she is going to be doing all about Reels, how to fall in love with Reels, how to do it, 101, the basics, so that we can keep building our online presence. So that's coming up on July 13th at 11 o'clock. Then in August, I will be leading, I'm actually doing a 3-day workshop called Nothing But Niche for the people that are joining my mastermind. But one of those days will be a Brand Power Hour day, the first day, which is August 2nd at 11 o'clock. I have to put it on the schedule, but I just decided today that first day, which is going to be more of an overview, is going to be open. But the next 2 days, if you've decided to join my mastermind, we're going to be going deep into defining your niche. So that's coming up as well. And if you're interested in the mastermind, I know a few of you are already signed up, got Lori and Rebecca. It is happening in September 18th. It's a small group, highly accessible mentorship. Even some people might even say too accessible and too much of me in your business, like it or not. But if you're looking for that mentorship to really bring your brand to the next level, would love to invite you to chat with me about it. I only have 4 seats left, which is crazy. A lot of the women who've joined previous, like Jill is a 2-timer, have decided to do it again. So the retention rate is high, which for me is just a way that says that people are getting results and they don't want to continue to work with me. So if you're curious about it, please reach out to me. Would love to speak to you about it. So today we are talking about scaling with impact, how to boost your brand online with the know, like, and trust factor, which is key to your branding, really coming across as a trusted authority, as an expert. And when you do this, obviously you not only stand out, but you can attract your dream clients much easier. And if you stand in your power as an expert, it's just an easier conversion process. So after today's training, Jill is going to show us how to get potential clients, establish relationships, and create trust through our brand, website, and social media. So I can't even remember how we met, Jill. I feel like I've known you forever, but I have never met you in person, which is just...
I missed my opportunity in May too.
Yeah, but I feel like, were we introduced, or did we even meet?
I don't know. I'm forgetting the name of the group I first belonged to with you. Was that Brand Attraction? Wait.
The membership?
The membership.
Yeah, so maybe somebody introduced you. I was trying to backtrack and figure out what the connection was. So you were in the membership, you joined the mastermind, you were a 2-timer, but you are obviously designer at JKL Creative Studio, a branding and show it website design studio specializing in design intensives. After years of working in corporate and higher education in the fields of graphic design and marketing, Jill now helps female entrepreneurs show up with confidence in the online world so they can grow and scale their businesses with impact and strategic brands and websites. When she is not creating and designing, she lives in New Jersey with her husband, 3 daughters, and 2 golden doodles. She can be found at home with a hot cup of tea on the sidelines of one of her girls' games, hiking, or planning her next travel adventure. So excited. I love to read your bio because I'm like, this is a template that we've worked on together. And so you could tell it's super clear. I love it. You could tell you've been doing the work in our branding program. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your expertise with the group. I will pass it on to you.
Hi, everyone. I'd love to do like a quick roundtable. I know a few of you, but I don't know everybody. So I just love to know what everybody's business is before we start. Sure. However you want to begin.
So
Rebecca?
I'll start.
Okay, perfect. And then maybe pick someone and then we'll just kind of do the popcorn way.
Okay. I'm Lori Pine. I'm the Joy CEO, and I had this amazing website designer and graphic artist who helped me bring it all to life. I actually help executive women get out of exhaustion, burnout, and being stuck and find their leadership voice in their business and their personal life. And let me pass it over to Rebecca.
Hey, I feel like I'm out of practice. But anyway, so we know one another.
It's been a week.
I know, but I feel like I haven't been on a Zoom or anything where I did my spiel. But anyway, I am Rebecca Ryan. I am in New Jersey, and I'm a brand photographer who helps female entrepreneurs stand out online with professional images. And I need to work on that. That elevator pitch. Anyway, how about Jen?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jen, and I'm a creative guide as well as a product creator. And I love providing soul-nourishing art experiences that are super accessible, whether it is helping you tap into your creative flow or helping you birth your journal or card deck into the world. And let's see, Tracy.
I am Tracy Chacoin, and I am a luxury real estate agent in Falmouth, Maine.
So last but not least, Christina.
Hi, everybody. My name is Christina Ioannidis. You know how many women don't feel safe and don't know what to do out there in dangerous situations? Well, I help teach and speak on that. I'm a martial artist of over 35 years experience, 5th degree black belt, and 6-time karate world fighting champion. I use my experience that I've gained over the years to teach and speak on self-defense. I teach karate and I do motivational speaking. Thank you.
All right, ladies, I am going to begin. Okay. Okay. We are doing our presentation today on Scale with Impact. It's boosting your brand online with the know, like, and trust factor. We're a small group, so feel free to ask questions and, you know, jump in whenever you want. Mallika, some of this is going to look.
See your whole screen.
Oh, we're not in full screen mode? Hold on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just cutting off a little bit.
Oh, is it? Okay, hold on. Are we good?
That's better.
Better? Okay. Hold on. I'm going to move us out of the way too. Okay. So people buy from people they know, like, and trust. This is from Bob Berg. He is a sought after speaker in the leadership place. He's the one that really kind of came up with this whole philosophy. And today we're going to talk about this specifically in regards to creating that in the online world. So you're in the right place today if you are at all struggling to stand out in a crowded marketplace. You are not connecting with your dream clients. You are feeling overwhelmed when thinking about social media. Your brand and your website don't convey your brand messaging. You are not being perceived as an expert in your industry, or your pricing does not match your worth. What we will be really learning today is how to get potential clients to know you through your brand, your website, and your social media, how you begin establishing a relationship with potential clients and grow a long-term relationship in the online world, and how you can create that know, like, and trust factor with your viewers so you're seen as an expert and a valued resource for potential clients across all platforms. Mallika really hit all this, so just a little bit more about me. Okay, today's intention is to create that know, like, and trust factor online so you can take your business to the next level by connecting to your dream clients and converting them into paying clients and being seen as an expert in your industry. So what is that know, like, and trust factor? It is connecting really to your ideal dream clients and fostering long-term relationships. Clients who feel like they know you and understand you are more likely to take that next step with your business. Today, we're going to talk about this in 3 different ways. Branding, and when we're talking about branding, we're going to really be speaking about visual brands, website design, and social media. I will say that I am not what I would consider an expert in social media, but it is how you're taking all these elements and connecting with them in the online world. But I think speaking about the Reels one that you have coming up, this is going to be a great follow through for that, because we do touch on Reels briefly in this as well. So how does that know, like, and trust factor translate to a digital world where we are not face to face? So we don't own coffee shops. People aren't coming in and asking us how your day was, how their day was. We have to do this in an online world where sometimes there's not that back and forth. So how do we do it when we're not face to face? First, let's talk about people getting to know you. People need to know you before they can ever like you and they can ever trust you. So it really stems from this. You will see, Lori, you're going to see some stuff on here that looks familiar to you. Become recognizable through your brand visuals. Hold on a second. Is this looking weird to you guys? I'm not sure why that is. Hold on a second, guys. Let me just try something here. I'm gonna start this again. I'm not start it again, but I'm gonna put it. Is that better?
But we can't see it.
You can't see it.
You have to share the screen because now
I
we're
have to share the screen again. Okay, hold on. Wait 1 second. Okay. That better?
yes, much
Okay,
better.
good. Okay, I'm not sure why that was doing that. Okay, so we become recognizable through our brand visuals. Logo suite. So this is obviously Lori. She came to me, Lori, was that like, I guess it was in the fall of last year or the end of the summer. She already had her brand photos done by Mallika, but she was really at she didn't have a website. She didn't have anything. So she came to us wanting to create a brand that represented her and her business. So as you know, Lori is the Joy CEO. So I will say her color story was easy to come up with because we wanted to create something that felt like her and her business. And we want it to carry across all platforms for her. So you'll see it in her main logo or alternate logo. Even though they may look differently, they all look and feel the same, including her fonts and her brand photography. And again, why we do this and how you create that no factor is you're putting those elements out in the world for people to get to know who you are. And your biggest thing, and you're going to hear me say this over and over again with your brand, is to really be consistent with it. People will get to know you through these images and your colors and your fonts and all of the things that you are putting out there. So how do we create this through your website design? How do people get to know you? There are several pages on your website that are key for people to getting to know you. Your home, your about, your service page. Through your copywriting, that's a big one because that is your brand voice, your messaging, everything you're putting out there. Through your testimonials, people get to know you through other people. Through blog posts, they get to know more about how you're an expert in your industry. Through email opt-ins and lists, you're getting into someone's inbox on a weekly or monthly basis. They get to know you consistently through that. And again, through your brand visuals and your colors. You need to take this, what we built in the beginning, and translate it into your website. Hold on. All right, social media, your posts. Think about personal posts, educational posts, testimonial posts, sales posts. These are the bases for how they're going to get to know you. Stories. I'm a big video person, so I try to just get on several times a week and speak directly to my potential clients who are out there or my clients that I currently have. I don't really try to make it overly complicated. I don't necessarily script something out. I have an idea of what I say, but I really try to keep it as natural as possible. and just get on and speak. And then I always try to include in that links or call to actions of the next thing I want my hopefully potential clients to actually do. Reels. Okay. This is when having a reel expert will really help you guys. But this is definitely probably my biggest struggle point with social media, but I do try to do them fairly often, and I try to make it as simple as possible for myself. I will say that my shortest reels are the ones that actually perform the best. And I try to always include some sort of call to action in it. So I'll just play this really briefly for you guys. It takes no time. Again, super short, super to the point. It gets your face out there. And I will say reels, the thing that it does is get you in front of a lot of people that you wouldn't necessarily be in front of even with your stories. So although they're not my thing, potentially, it does work. And I don't think you have to feel like make it overcome. you're not gonna ever find me dancing or singing in a reel. It's just not who I am. It's not really even on brand to who I am, but I do try to connect my face in there through brand photography. And I'm going to say this again later on, use trending music, because that's huge. That's what really kind of pushes it out there more. The more you can bring that authentic human side, the more your followers are going to remember there's a real person on the other side of the screen. People buy from people. I think that's just a key component of it, is you just got to be who you really are. And you're going to naturally make those connections with people that feel connected to you. And you got to show all sides of your business and your personal side. Imagine two people with an identical product and an identical price. One person comes across as boring and impersonal, and the other is engaging, interesting, and welcoming. Which one would you rather do business with? Okay, back to branding. So how do we take your brand and create a like and attraction for people? So this was a client of mine. Her name was Rebecca Stevens. She was an emotional wellness coach. She deals a lot with tapping. She wanted her clients to feel as if when they come in and see her, they were escaping, like their reality, their life. So she also she had a sense of like water. She wanted to get that feeling across. So we came up with this color that kind of made you feel like you were escaping. I'm going to say color is probably one of the biggest key components of your brand. It is the first thing that attracts or unattracts people to your brand. People will be attracted to that more than any other visuals that you put out there. So really don't just think of your brand as what you like. Think about what will actually attract people to you. And, the visuals and everything will come, are based upon, honestly, a lot of the colors and everything that you choose. Okay, personality in your website. I'm going to say my favorite place to do this is on your about page, because it is really a place on your website where you can be a little bit more personable, and you can really share a side of you that you may not be able to share on other parts of your website. So obviously you're going to start off with, your founder story, how and why your business came to be. You're going to remind them of your mission and how you can help them. But it is really a place that you can show, make that personal connection. These are they're actually two photographers, two different websites I worked on. They're stylized completely differently, but you'll see here pictures of the first one. She is with her dog. She's in a coffee shop where she works out of a lot. She has in here like some of her favorite books and stuff like that. This other one, Ariana, we had like a favorite section placed for her. And then she wanted to create something that felt like a scrapbook, like her own personal scrapbook that she could share with people. So it really is a great place to help create some of that likability within your website. Okay, posts on social media. How do we create that like factor on there? Welcome posts are great for this, about you posts, about your family. On stories, behind the scenes, pictures of you, your family outside, work, pets. I'm going to say stories is just like, it's a very easy place to do and share about your personal life a little bit. You just take a picture and you post it. You don't need a caption with it. You don't need anything. My daughter had her prom last week. It was easy to share pictures about that. If I'm on vacation, obviously I'm on vacation and I don't want to having to go on. I'm not doing my regular things on stories, but it's a great place to share pictures of your vacation. All those things make personal connections. I'm away, I'm in a certain place. I hear a lot back from people like, I was just there, I'm here. So it is a great place to make that personal connection. Okay, reels. A day in the life, about being a mom, about the craziness of being an entrepreneur. Again, short and sweet is where I like to be. This was one, I think I did this last summer, so there may be some recognizable people in here. This probably took me all of 5 minutes to put together. The day before, I took really short snippet videos. I put them together. And again, I put trending music with it. It doesn't all have to, I mean, listen, some people do amazing reels and I feel like they spend a lot of time on that, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can make them short and sweet. And again, this is just other ways for people to begin to create that likability factor with them, or for you to create that likability factor with them. And this is an important piece to the like factor. Not everybody's going to like you, right? The most effective personality-based brands create polarization. People either love them or they hate them. People, if they love them, they really love them. And if they hate them, it doesn't really matter. They were not going to be your people to ever work with. So don't even think about it. Listen, you have to sometimes develop a thick skin. I'm sure everybody's on here has had a point where someone has said something to them, but that's okay. You wouldn't want to work with those people anyway. And we can't work with everybody. So it's okay to put the stuff out there, and it's okay for not everybody to love you. The trust factor. When people trust that what you say matches what you do, they are more likely to put their money where their mouth is. So how do we do this? Through branding. This is Lavender and Sage. It's a boutique up in New Jersey. I think came to me like last spring, summer. We created whole branding for them. And they, I will say, do a phenomenal job of using their branding. It's on their social media. They have signs made up. It's on their marketing material, on their packaging. And it really is being consistent. When someone sees that you have a professional brand, a professional logo, they're going to perceive you as an expert. And that's what we're trying to create with people. And again, this is where consistency comes in play as well, is being really consistent and having it go across everything that you do. Okay, website design. How do we do that? There's a lot of ways. Social proof, having a really strong call to action. So when people go on your website, they know immediately what it is that you do and where it's easy for them to go to that next spot where you ultimately want them to go. Blog posts, huge in this because it is a great place to share your expertise. You can share that. You can put it's on your website, obviously, can be used in a lot of different ways. Services that solve problems are key here. You want to make sure your services are really crafted in such a way that it really works for the people that you want to work with. Lead magnets are really big in this. It's a great way to share a little bit of what you do, and hopefully they want more from you, and you can keep, and again, you're getting on their email list, and that is huge because again, you're in their inbox on a weekly or monthly basis, and it may not be an immediate sale, but it will hopefully be something down the line for you. Resources is another key way. Resources on your website, whether that's links to other things or freebies that you have on your website. Social proof too, I just want to note here, like, this was Allison, she was a event planner. Obviously, social proof, we all think of testimonials, but also social proof comes in the way of, she was mentioned in several different publications, so we wanted to tag those onto her website as well. So think of all the different areas you can use social proof in. Okay, so social media, how we create that trust factor. Social proof posts are really big for this. Expertise posts, educational posts, finished products or service posts, stories, again, that speak directly to your dream client, but share posts or videos from past clients. For instance, if I ever see someone that's using my branding somewhere, I always kind of share that back onto my stories as well. So anything you can do like that always helps. Reels, behind the scenes, social proof, finished products, sharing your expertise, anything like that helps to establish trust. This is really a super quick reel I did, and it is my best performing reel that I ever did. So again, not overcomplicated.
Okay, let's see here. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Again, these were like snippets I took out of different testimonials that were written, super easy. And again, you don't have to overcomplicate it. Customer trust is really worth cultivating because it leads to deeper connections, which is exactly what consumers want. Today's buyers no longer see brand loyalty as merely making repeat purchases from one company. They see more meaningful relationships with their favorite businesses. I'm sorry, they're seeking more meaningful relationships. This is a case study. This is Tom Holland. She is the midlife energizer. She really is sort of a health coach, but she in particular works with women in midlife. So again, her name is the Midlife Energizer. So when she came to me, we wanted to create a brand that had that feeling of energy. A lot of that is through her colors that we chose to use. We reds and oranges, sort of bright, energetic colors. When we created a brand, we also try to be thoughtful about the pieces and the elements that we put together so they have meanings. You'll see here these half circles that she uses. It's really throughout her brand. We created that because she wanted her clients to feel a sense of balance. So that was the half circles, and also midlife, because that is really the group of women she's working with. So that, when we create a brand, it's really purposeful in how we create it, that it is not just a logo that's put together on Canva, but it is something that truly represents your business and most importantly, attracts those dream clients to your business. We then moved on to her website. Again, we wanted strong calls to actions that explain exactly what it is you do. Copywriting with strong brand messaging that shares your expertise and speaks to your dream client. A website that is easy to navigate, because people will ultimately leave your website if it's not easy to navigate. Email opt-ins to include professional photography, testimonials. We want to make it, I always think of a website as, if you were to have a storefront, I want your website to evoke those same feelings so that they go in and they can really truly understand what it is you do and make it super easy for them to get to where they want to go. Above the fold is really, you'll see this area up here. It's what opens up to your website. That is where you have to, that is such an important element. They need to know right away what it is they do. You have less than 8 seconds when people go onto a website for them to decide if they're staying or leaving. So it is so important to ultimately open up with something that looks a certain way, that represents your business in a certain way, but most importantly, explains what it is that you do and how you can help serve them. Social media, posts, again, we're going to go again with all of this, but your sales post about what you offer, your educational posts, sharing social proof, All of this is key. Stories that speak to your dream clients, that you're sharing posts through your stories, sharing posts of your clients, sharing quotes that speak to your dream clients. I also think, obviously we're on social media to get clients, but it's also still recognizing the people that you have worked with, because hopefully, your past clients become repeat customers to you. And, if my clients have something that's going on or new, I always try to share that with people. Again, being a reciprocal, people I've come to know, other brand photographers, copywriters, I always try to share their stuff as well. Reels, behind the scenes, social proof, finished products, sharing your expertise. Again, I think I said this, but make sure you're using trending music. Even if you have it really low, any kind of trending music will just automatically rise higher onto people for more people to see it. Okay, this is really kind of what we went through today. I would love to answer any questions that you guys have in regards to branding, website design, social media, how we incorporate it all, how we really, again, create that know, like, and trust factor in an online world where we're not having necessarily that back and forth with people on a daily basis. Questions?
You want to stop the share? Maybe bring us.
Yep.
And are there any sections, curious with this group, the know, the like, the trust, where do you feel like you excel and where do you feel like you need help? I mean, personally for me, I think trust is something I work really hard on, positioning myself as an authority and an expert, and maybe the know, where it's more of maybe more personal, maybe sharing, I don't know, maybe even more about my family. I feel like I do it, but maybe there's more opportunity where I can go deeper into that. But curious about the rest of you guys.
I'm with you, Mallika, when it comes to that. I feel like I share too much, but I've been told I don't share enough. And that's because I think when we do it, if you're not someone that wants to overshare your family and your personal life, when you do it, you feel like you've just shared the biggest thing ever, right? So it feels like a lot, but I've been told I could open up more. But how much more? What areas of my personal life? Are there certain things you shouldn't be showing? Obviously, out to drinks with friends, but pets, obviously, but outside of that, I don't know, sometimes I'm at a loss.
Yeah, I think it's also creating that happy medium, what feels right to you as to what's good for business growth, right? I mean, again, we live in this crazy social media world, so I get why some people wouldn't want to share all your kids' things and your family's moments and stuff like that. And maybe it doesn't have to be all that stuff. Maybe it is, going to dinner and sharing a picture of the drinks that you have. I feel like there's always usually workarounds for things that you're not as comfortable with online, sharing. Again, I like again, with reels, I'm not a dancing singing person. So I've worked around that a little bit by sharing like brand photography pictures.
Yeah. And I think that you bring a good point, Jill. It's like knowing what to share through the lens of business growth, right? So sometimes I think like I'm wary of sharing because I am a brand mentor of all the struggles that I'm going through, unless it's something that's relatable for my clients. Because why would they hire me if I'm like in this pit of like, I don't know what the hell to do about my business. So I still have to wear the professional hat as the no, so that they can trust and like me. But there is ways, that happy medium of making it more human, where I'm not like, too professional and it's more relatable. So there is that happy balance, because I have seen coaches when I was looking for a coach, and they're knowing part of like who I am and all of their struggles. And I'm like, why would I ever invest thousands of dollars in you when you're like struggling too much, or you're like in the depths of despair? Like, that's not the energy that I want either. So we have to be kind of careful, I think.
Yeah, it's a balance.
Yes, for sure. Anyone else?
Anybody else struggle with a certain section of that, either know, like, or trust?
I'll go with the no as well, although I think I do it because I'm like, oh, but I show up all the time and I share tips and stuff. But if I'm really thinking about it, I probably don't actually share enough about myself and my story. And I can correct that.
Yeah. And again, I don't think it doesn't have to be all the time, right? It can be like a post. It can be sometimes like the easiest things are like, hey, there are a lot of new people here. This is my story type of thing, you know, a brief thing about that.
I mean, I'll just add also, like, I just, at the retreat, you guys, some of you were there. I shared 3 things you might not know about me. And that was like a big hit. And I actually put one as a social media post and I got like high engagement. So maybe that's something we can all do, is like something you might not know about me, and then share something like that, so that you're creating like that, a deeper sort of relationship with your audience, even though it's an online audience.
Yeah, and something like that's great because it kind of creates that way accessible back and forth where people will respond to you. So if you end a post or something like that with a question or like, what don't I know about you type of thing, it'll automatically kind of generate a more of a back and forth, because that's kind of what we lose on social media. It's not so back and forth all the time unless you're like in someone's DMs. Anyone else?
I'll go.
just-
I don't know. I feel like I struggle a little bit sort of the other way. Excuse me. So I'm just trying to I'm fighting a cold here. Being a self-defense expert and so forth, I try to focus on that. But the way I've done my social media, especially my Instagram, is I just kind of I try to show holistically just like who I am as a person, my family, my karate training, my travels, I work full time, the volunteering we do, whatever. So there's a part of me, I was like, should I only be showing sort of what my focus is, or a little bit of everything? I've kind of decided just to do the whole holistic thing, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't know. Like, I want people to just see, look, this is what I am. I'm not just, sort of self-defense. I'm a little bit of everything.
Right.
So, the only place where I question is that, does it work then for my brand in terms of clients and so forth? And I feel like I struggle with that a little bit, but I'm sure you'll get to that. So I'll wait. I'll hold off.
You struggle. Repeat that again to me. How do you struggle?
Like CTAs and, sort of getting clients and so forth in to completely commit.
Well, I think it's like, that is part of like taking things to like these are all bases, right? We're setting the people up to know, to like, to trust you. And then how do we convert them, right? How do we make that go from, creating that feeling that you're hoping to create to actually creating sales? I will say, I think a good website is key in this, because that is actually where conversion tends to happen. Yeah, and jumping into people's DMs, like that is like the next level of like social media, right? Like someone makes a comment on something that you did or on a story or whatever it is. And it is taking that to that next level of like, okay, here's some things that, going into their DM and asking them a question and really kind of taking it to that next space. I mean, that is what we try to do with social media, right? Is taking them to that next area, or giving them something that's maybe a freebie for them, right? Like giving them some advice or giving them a little bit of something helps to foster that, take that next step. Anybody else? I mean, Laura, you're great at social media, right? You went from nothing to being great at it.
Thank you. It started with a challenge. I had a coach who challenged me to do 30 reels in 30 days. And so that's how it started.
Yeah.
But
and now it's great. I mean, you're really on all the time.
I'm trying to be, but one of the things I feel like I'm doing is engaging my current audience, but I don't know how well I'm doing really expanding my audience. And so that's a real challenge, growing my audience.
It's growing on social media. Yeah. I mean, I will say, and you are doing it like this, like, the Reels thing is great for that, because it does get you in front of a lot of people. I'm going to also say this. I mean, Instagram, from where I started to where I mean, Mallika, you could probably speak about this too, from where I started like 5 years ago to today, it is definitely harder to grow than it was back then, whatever their, I mean, I know it's constantly changing their algorithms. I think the biggest thing to keep in mind though, you don't need a huge following to grow your business. Like you just need the right people to be following you.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you have 500 people, you're not going to really work with 500 people in a year anyway, right? But as long as those 500 people are key people, you're attracting really the right people to you, then it doesn't, you could have 500 or 5,000. It's not going to really matter for you.
Quality versus quantity.
Yes.
Yep.
And one thing I would say for you, Lori, is you're probably growing, like your post, that recent graphic that you posted, which was about self-care. I shared it and then you didn't see it, but 3 people shared it from me. So here is how you can grow as an expert in that expert category, is tagging other people that have an audience you can leverage. And that way they might share it, or if you tag them in your post or you put them in your content, they will share it. And that way it's going to people that might not be in your immediate audience. That's how you're going to. So
yeah, I spoke about this, about sharing, not only your stuff, but obviously other people's stuff, but also tagging them. That's key, because a lot of people don't, if someone shared something mine, they don't tag, you'll never really see it.
Right.
So it's huge. That is key, is really, that too helps take it to the next level.
That's awesome. Okay. Thank you for that.
Strategic about that. Like when you do that post, you can tag people that you're like, you don't even have to tell them you're tagging them, but you know that this quote is going to resonate with them. And so then they immediately get the flag that they've seen it, they're going to share it. So I used to do this a lot more before. I should probably get back to this. I would always have a quote. And you guys know, because anyone who's in my mastermind, you'd get tagged, right? I would have a quote and I would tag everyone in my mastermind. And then it would then they would share it, so that it would just organically grow, right? So that could be a strategy that you start to do, because now you're doing more graphics to support it.
Yeah.
I do have a question about automating posting. So I've been just literally doing it every day, like as is. Here's a reel post. Here's a carousel post.
Right.
So what do you do in terms of any sort of automation?
So I actually used to automate everything, and I've kind of stepped away from that a little bit, because sometimes, like, I was finding it didn't always post when it was supposed to post, or whatever. It was an aggravating assault thing for me. I do post, like, if I'm going away, like if I'm heading out of town or whatever, I'll make sure I automate some things then. Yeah, I think there's a lot of different places out there you can automate from. I don't know if anyone's perfect over the other, but you can do it, and you can do, I mean, there are people out there that do like a whole month at a time. That seems like overwhelmed to me, because I feel like a lot of first of all, I will say, like, posting a post, I only do a couple of times a week now for my bit. I used to do 5 days a week. Now I'm like 2 to 3 days a week, but I'm always on stories in some sort of way. So obviously stories, I do, and I post. So it's really what works best for you, but it does take away having to take that time every day to do it for yourself, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I was just wondering too about like the right timing, because when I do it now, I do it whenever I think of it.
Looking at your analytics, Lori, like that will tell you.
Yeah.
Can I add
so I
something
have
that
been
might be
looking at my
helpful?
analytics, but I have no consistency to it the way it is right now. I'm really just throwing spaghetti at the wall. I'm like, oh, wait, it's 3 o'clock. I'll do it now. Oh, wait, it's 8 o'clock at night. I'll do it now. And
But your analytics should tell you when most people are viewing your posts. So for me, I tend to post first thing in the morning, because that tends to be when most people view my posts.
Also, just a suggestion, Laurie, you can go into, I believe it's through Facebook. If your Facebook and your Instagram business page are connected, you can go into the Meta Business Suite and schedule your posts. Mallika, I see you shaking your head. Yes. so you know where I'm going. It'll actually suggest certain times that you should schedule your posts for on both platforms based off of your audience and when they're most active. I'm not always perfect at this. I, like everybody else, was doing on the spot, and honestly, it was taking me like an hour for each post just to come up with the content, proof it, make sure it's perfect, add the music, whatever else. It's time consuming. And I was doing 5 days a week as well. I've cut back, and now if I can, I find that sitting down at the desktop for maybe 45 minutes, if I can line up 3 posts, it's so much easier, and you just schedule it for later through Facebook, and it takes care of it. And it's not perfect. I do have to go in and, add my posts to Instagram, to my stories as well, if I want them to appear there as well. But it's so much easier. So if you have content, it might not be a bad idea to sit down and give it a try.
Okay, thank you.
I think it also helps you be a little, sometimes when you pre-plan some of it out, it helps you be more strategic about it, that you're sure like you're hitting your points that you want to hit.
Yes,
Like
you
I want there to be an
putting out-
educational post.
Exactly.
I want this,
I mean, 100%. So like what I teach obviously is to have a content plan, right? We have themes for every month. And then within those themes, you're doing micro themes for each week. So when you have that information, if it's already done, then having a tool like Later, which is what I started working with, you can pre-populate everything so that it's consistent and cohesive, which means your content is even going to be more powerful rather than just pulling stuff and just generating for the sake of generating it.
Mallika, can you speak a little bit about what Later might provide that Meta Business Suite does not?
So I think from my experience, Meta Business Suite is very clunky. So the way Later works is you actually see a calendar and you can kind of drag and drop your content, and you have one piece of content which then you can disperse to multiple platforms. And you can tweak that piece of content because some platforms can have a clickable link within their caption versus Instagram, which does not. So there's a lot of different ways, easier ways for you to repurpose content on multiple platforms, which is really what you want to do for your brand so that you are touching all of the marketing channels. So I can have one piece of content that's rolling out on Instagram at 9 a.m. And then that same piece of content will be on LinkedIn the next day at 3 p.m. with different caption because there's different links. I'll also be pushing it to Pinterest on another day. I'll be pushing it to Facebook later the same day. So now I have like this whole content plan, which is automated. And really it's $18 a month. And if you have someone on your team, which is now I'm starting to work with Britt, which some of you guys know, she does it all. So she makes the graphics for me and she's doing it. So having a tool like Later is
I
good.
need a Brit.
You need a Britt, yeah. But having a tool like Later helps when you have someone on your team that's doing it, rather than having them come into your Instagram and they're posting it under your name in your own Instagram.
Sorry,
And analytics are better.
did you say it's called Later, Later or Later?
I think it's Later.
I think it is as well.
But I just started using it, and honestly, she's using it. Like I got it because I wanted her to be able to strategically place and upload the content and use and put it on the calendar. But it's pretty easy.
Here, I'm sharing it here.
So
I
That's
just
for
looked
Later.
a few of you up on Instagram because I'd love to help support you on social. Jill, I couldn't find your handle. Do you have a handle?
Oh, I should have shared that. I mean, it is on my thing, but it's JKL_creative studio. I'm gonna put it right here. I'm also,
yeah, everyone should put their Instagram handles in the.
I put it in my name.
Oh, awesome. I think we're already following each other, Nikki. But
Yeah.
and shoot. I'm also gonna give you guys.
Thank you. Oh, there you are, Jill.
I'm sorry?
I just found you.
Oh, you found me. Okay, good.
Yep, great. Yep.
And I'm gonna share with you all as well a free download This is it's a free brand and website audit. It's the self audit where you can do it yourself. It's my starting point with really my clients that have current websites, to go through a checklist of what you should have with your brand and what you should be having with your website. It helps you to see what maybe you're doing well and what you maybe need to work on a little bit. It also has like a bunch of tips on taking that next step. So it's definitely a good one to download if you're all questioning your website or brand.
Yeah, it's good. Like the information we got today, you should be using that as a filter, objectively looking at your website to see if you have the know, like, and trust.
Right. Yeah. And your website, I'm going to say this too, social media versus your website. I mean, social media is great. I mean, it really is how so many of us are growing our business. But ultimately, you want to bring them to a website, up to a place where you have all control over what you're putting out there. And, you know, and Mallika, I think this happened to you, right? Didn't you lose your Instagram feed?
I had like 7,500 followers and
Yeah.
they took it away for some reason. And it was, yeah.
Gone forever. Right. So, I mean, listen, it happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen again to you, but like you want to have that home base where you can really share whatever it is that you want to share, you know, and that really is, you know, that's your storefront. That's your place for everybody to come by for you. So having an effective website is super, super important to converting clients.
So they have 4.
I'm sorry.
Who was that? Christina? I don't think we heard.
I didn't hear that.
Oh, maybe not.
Well, I just want to let you all know too, that everybody that's like working so hard on the social media, what Jill said is right. Like you want to have a strong presence. I always wondered, is it working? Right? You know, we're spending all this time putting these posts out and these stories and these reels and these, you know, it takes a lot of time. And not too long ago, I had someone contact me. And when I asked them how they heard about me, they told me Facebook. So that's when I took a step back and it was like an aha. I was like, okay, like just gave me more fuel to keep going. So what we're all doing is working. You know, just got to keep doing it.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I always am shocked, like the amount of people that that really come to me through really Instagram is probably my home, but it is true. It's like spending the time on there. It does pay off if you're strategic about it.
Even if they don't find us there, I think it's a great brand validator.
Oh, of course.
You know?
Yeah. Well, because those are the things like people ask, like, you know, are you on social media? And the next thing, I mean, really the first thing is, do you have a website? People want to check you out on your website, right? I mean, that's your first question you go to all the time. So it's just super important to have all those pieces in play in today's age, because we got to go back to 2020. If we didn't have all these things, what would have happened to our businesses if we didn't have an online presence?
How do you all feel about having a presence within groups, like Facebook groups? I know we've talked about like putting out posts on our own platforms, but what about posting within groups? Do you feel like that's equally as important? Has anybody ever got anything from doing that?
I think it's important. I don't know if I've gotten like a ton that way, but I think it's important because I think you can get lost in a shuffle a little bit, but I think it's always important to do it. Anywhere you can share yourself, it's important.
I think it depends on what you want to get out of it. Like for me, speaking engagements, I get a ton out of Facebook groups. And when other people are tagging me for like a podcast opportunity or a speaking engagement, or even just as it's like a brand awareness tool, I would say. Is it going to convert into a client immediately? Probably not, but it's going to get them to go to my Instagram, go to my website. So it's definitely a nurture tool. And I think you have better chance in a Facebook group than just on Facebook in general, because once you're in a community, it's probably there's some kind of like-mindedness or some shared values or shared goals there. So I tend, if I am on Facebook, Facebook groups are where I will spend most of my time, not just for posting, even on my own feed. It's like, I don't see that as kind of any return on investment, really. All right.
Is
we have-
everybody's home more or less on Instagram? Yeah.
I start there unless I'm pre-planning, like I talked about with Lori, which doesn't happen as much as I would like it to, but when I do it, I do it through the Meta Business Suite, and it's so freeing. I feel like I just saved myself a ton of time that the weeks that I do it, I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about it. It's such a relief. But otherwise, I do go through Instagram for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say this, and Mallika, I'm curious to ask the question. Do you guys feel like you get more benefit out of posts or stories?
I think it's like a combo
Yeah.
where, you know, the posts are this, it's like your magazine that you're putting out. It's like
Mhm.
all of the stories that are staying on your feed. And so people are going to click, click, click to really get that know, like, and trust factor. Where the stories are in that moment, the humanization of your brand, where you're like a real person taking people on
Right.
the journey of your life. So I think you need both.
Yeah.
In
Well, I definitely think you need both. I'm curious where your connections come from, like a lot. Like I find I get more through stories, like people messaging me through a story sometimes. I also do
I
a
get that
lot, I
too.
should have said, I do a lot with polls and stuff in my stories, or like, not, I shouldn't, like more like, you know, I create templates for it and I kind of put them up and I get a lot that way.
I feel like because people feel like it's private, also, that they're
Yeah.
more comfortable communicating and putting
that's
things
true.
out there via stories than on posts where everybody can see and it's going to remain.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, but video, definitely stories, like all of us should be doing, you know, talking to the camera on stories. And it's gone in 24 hours. So even if you have, you know, you're feeling insecure, like definitely try and do it and get yourself out there so that you're more visible, because visibility is equated to leadership and authority.
Is everybody on stories? Lori, I know you are, like doing video.
Tracy, are you on stories?
Are you asking me?
Muted myself, I am.
You are. Okay, good. I find for stories, for me, it's more of the trust. Like I have 3 things you need to know about your brand, or like it's very much expert subject matter content is how I'm using it. I mean, I guess that's not true. Maybe
I feel like you post a lot of family,
yeah,
you
that's
know, going out pictures. I
yeah,
always like to see what you're doing on a Friday night.
yeah, that's true. That's all my wine pictures. Yeah.
Tracy and Nikki, I know you both are realtors. There's a realtor in my area who she works with Barbara Corcoran, like she invests a lot in marketing, and she does such an excellent job with social media. And she'll use stories to announce that a new property is about to be listed. And like she'll be on the property and it's gonna be listed, you know, on next Tuesday, but here's a sneak peek. And I mean, she's just crushing it. She gets so much attention and so many views, and she happens to be a friend of mine. And I mean, she's just year over year, like agent of the year and hitting all these big incentive trips. And she's using social media very much as a part of her strategy.
Yeah, I recently did a story. I was walking a new development, a new build, new construction site with potential buyers. And I just kind of lagged behind and took a quick video. I shut the sound off, uploaded some trending music, and had some caption that said, "Sick of getting outbidded by other buyers. Let's talk about building." And I just kind of showed a small little clip. And I did get some, you know, engagement from it. But what is her name? I'd love to follow her for ideas.
Yeah, it's Virginia Corbett, Corbett.
I think that's the other thing. I think people get put off a
Thank
little
you.
bit by social media because they feel like it feels overwhelming to them. And I don't, especially stories, it doesn't need to be perfect at all. I think because
Yeah,
or I would never put anything out there. So I feel like you just gotta like go with it sometimes. And again, don't aim for perfection with it.
yeah, it's like Mallika said, it's going to be gone in 24 hours anyway.
Exactly.
So if you mess up speaking, and sometimes I actually feel like people appreciate that because you know, when you do 10 takes to get it perfect, it's like you're the stoic,
Robot.
perfect, professional person. And that's not really who we all are, right? We're people and we all make mistakes, and other people want to see that too.
Yeah, and I
Somebody
think, and that becomes being relatable.
Somebody recently commented that they appreciated my dogs barking in the background. Like now, right? On cue.
Well, I encourage you guys all to do some posts today, something that will either hit on the no or the like or the trust. Get yourself out there, get visible, check your website, right? To make sure that it's healthy, that it does touch on all these points, because this is how you attract clients, the dream clients. This is how you're going to build your business. And it's how you're going to differentiate from everybody else. I mean, that know, like, and trust factor is, I mean, key to the success of your brand. I can't stress it enough. So thank you, Jill, for sharing with us.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it.
Signature talk. That was the first time I've seen it. So
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you, Jill. It was
Malika was
great.
key with this, so thank you.
yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Really great.
Thanks for
Bye,
coming.
everybody.
Good to see you all, and I hope to see you soon. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.